Ladies, it's your time to shine with all things fabulous with First for Women on Afternoon Express. For insurance with a host of fabulous benefits, call 0861 11 18 44 or SMS FIRST to 49267.
Today on Afternoon Express, it's about to get cheesy as we make camembert baked two ways. We chat with heartthrob Armand Aucamp about his new movie. Meet with opera singer and TV presenter Lynelle Kenned. Talk about all things ceramic with Mervyn Gass. See what's happening in Zikhona Sodlaka's life. And learn all about transfer decor technique with Yanni Khosart.
Good afternoon, South Africa, and welcome to Afternoon Express. I'm Bonnie Mbuli. On the show today, we celebrate the theatrics on stage, on local and international screens, and all my guests today have that in common. First, we've got actress, opera singer, pasela presenter, Lynelle. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Bonnie.
Heartthrob and actor Armand Aucamp.
Thank you. I'm not quite sure about the first part, but let's go with that.
But I did say Armand right.
You did. You said good. Roll your R's. Flawless.
And of course, a gorgeous, fabulous actress, Zikhona Sodlaka.
Thank you so much.
Don't look at me like that. You better own
It's
it.
this fabulous part that I just struggle with.
Look at those lips on there. It's fabulous.
Mesmerizing.
Welcome to the loft, guys.
Thank you.
It's lovely to have you.
Thank you.
But before we carry on chatting to our fabulous guests, let's rub Jeannie's lamp and see what she's cooking up in the kitchen. Jeannie!
I told you I'm not that kind of genie. But welcome to the show. What would Afternoon Express be without some tantalizing tastes from our kitchen? And cooking with us today is the gorgeous Claire Winstanley.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you,
now,
thank you.
cheese is the bane of my existence. I mean, I am addicted. What are we making today?
So, as you say, today is all things cheesy, but hot-eating cheese. So the kind that you put in the oven and it comes out all ooey and gooey. How yum.
But first, Bonnie is on the couch with our first guest.
Thank you, Jeannie. That sounds like a treat. She started her career as a model and soon turned to acting and presenting. She's recently received a SAFTA nomination for Best Supporting Actress in After 9. Joining us on our couch is the absolutely beautiful and vivacious Zikhona Sodlaka. Welcome. Yes. Were you cringing when I was introducing you?
So what does vivacious even mean?
It means all of you, all of this.
You're also a vivacious girl.
Welcome to the show. It's
Thank
great
you
to
very
have
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, some of you will know that Zikhona Sodlaka played Nelson Mandela's mother in Long Walk to Freedom. And of course, Nelson Mandela was played by Idris Elba. I hope you kissed him on the forehead.
I did. I had to kiss him only on the forehead. I didn't want to kiss him on the forehead only, but I
because
held him.
it's a family movie.
Yes, of course. And when you're a mother, you must
And you
just
held him like a
remember
mother.
PG.
What was it like working with him?
He is very,
Fine.
very talented.
Talented, okay.
In a lot of ways. Even
a
when
lot
you look
of
at him, you
ways.
see the talent.
What was it like? What was the experience like?
Well, firstly, the mother of any person is what I am not. I've not been a parent
They had
yet.
to age you.
They had to age me by at least 30 years. So I was playing Utadu Nelson Mandela's
That's a
mother.
compliment.
Yes, it's a compliment, honey,
Yeah.
when they have to make you look old.
Yeah, imagine they were
And
like,
it's
oh, you
hard.
look the part.
But you must just look younger. So
Right.
they aged, but we did play a bit of her when she was in her early 30s, when that Mandela was about 7 years old, and then she aged.
Right.
And so, so for me, it was not a hard find playing the character. I mean, that Mandela was Eastern Cape, which is where I'm from. Kunu is literally like 20 minutes away from my real home. So when I go home, I really get to see that type of mother. So playing it was just nice. And then experiencing it.
Wow. And you guys had to travel back and forth to Robben Island.
Yes, there was Robben
By
Island.
boat.
There was Robben Island, which I unfortunately but fortunately did not get to experience. I cannot imagine what it was like shooting those scenes. Remember the island scenes with the prison scenes?
Oh, yes.
And the mother didn't get to go to prison, at least not in the film.
So you were spared being seasick on the boat.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Your acting career has grown in leaps and bounds. What has been the highlight for you so far?
I think literally every project I get into
Right.
is that exciting, that you cannot have one thing that sticks out. I mean, you get to shoot the Long Walk to Freedom, get to go to a set that you've always wanted to go to. Right after that, go to another set that you've always wanted to go to work people you wanted to work with right after that. So it's really been awesome. Some have just been, longer than others. Or some have been shorter than others. There's always going to be a drab. There's always going to be excitement.
Right.
So I can't think.
Any exciting co-stars you worked with where you were totally starstruck and you just couldn't move and didn't know how you were going to get through the scene?
Very first production.
Which was? Do tell.
Remember Cha-Cha?
Yes, of course I remember Cha-Cha. It was awesome.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So I got to join the very last season. I think it was season 4. I definitely know for a fact.
Yes.
And it was the last season, and there I am. I'm joining. I'm a young one, very, very young. And I'm acting alongside this amazing guy, that I'd always hoped I'd work with.
You have to tell now. You can't do that to
My
us.
eyes are dilating on television. I cannot. So anyway, I had an experience right there. I was never ready. So we had the scene where we had to hug and a young kiss.
Okay.
And so we do it, and it's the first time in my life doing a scene of that nature. And so I walk off set, and then the AD's waiting for me right outside because I think it was raining. We're under the umbrella, and I scream. And I'm screaming there, and everyone can hear because the scene still continues. It's still shooting, and I had no idea. So everyone knew that I was that excited
to work with this guy.
To kiss
So
that
it was quite
guy.
embarrassing.
It was. It was.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're not going anywhere.
Oh?
Yeah, you're not.
There's food.
Yeah, of course there's food. After the break, Armand Aucamp.
Now, on the couch is South African actor Armand Aucamp, who's here to chat about his rise to fame. And we're joined by renowned actress Zikhona Sodlaka, who acted alongside Armand in Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express on SABC3. He's fast becoming one of the most sought-after actors in South Africa, with roles in films both local and international. Joining us is the star of Afrikaans drama, Ballade vir Enkeling, the hunky Armand Aucamp. Welcome to the loft.
Thank you so much.
Now, you've just schooled me that Armand is not an Afrikaans name, it's French.
Yes, Armand, as we would say, is Armand.
Armand.
Armand, which means the soldier of God. And then my surname, Aucamp, means in the field. So I'm the soldier of God in the field.
Dude.
Yeah.
And how are you living that out?
Rough and ready. I've got my boots, I've got my denim on, I'm in the field.
I must say, you're from Stellenbosch, right?
Yes.
Now, I've lived in Stellenbosch, and I must say, you've got the Stellenbosch look down to a T.
Thank you. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I moved away from Stellenbosch.
I think it's a compliment.
No, it is, yeah.
The men look like these robust farmers, and the women look whimsical and romantic.
Oh, well, thank you.
Really? Yes, they do.
Whimsical.
It's a very Stellenbosch look.
This is kind of Maboneng / Bosch, Mabu Bosch, because I live in Maboneng now, so I've kind of like...
No, that's nothing the Maboneng about that.
What?
No.
I try. Okay, Maboneng this. I fixed it myself.
Yes.
Maboneng.
Wow, nice.
I can sew.
Deconstruction. You're fast becoming known for not just being a great actor, but a heartthrob as well.
Oy.
And the women aren't complaining. I did hear Z say that she couldn't sit any closer to you because otherwise she was going to touch your person.
Jeez, can I
Like
touch
that. Yeah. Is that
I blush a
overwhelming,
lot.
or are you just like, oh, well, it happens?
Yeah, I just kind of don't pay much attention to it. Otherwise, I just turn red like I am now, so that just looks awkward. but it's very flattering, and yeah, but I try not to focus too much on that. It's kind of difficult.
Don't look at me like I want to tell. Look at how he's looking at me.
Oh, wow. Now, you were
Sorry.
in Chronicle in
Yes.
2012. What was that experience like?
That was my very first international job.
Okay.
So it was really incredible to see how, it wasn't a big role, but it was
But it was a big film.
massive film.
Yeah.
It ended up being, number one at the box office for a couple of weeks. But that was the first time when I had one page of dialogue, and then I had a trailer.
Oh, yeah,
And people
yeah.
were making me cappuccinos, and I was like, what is this about? It was lovely. It was a bit overwhelming. But incredible to see how international films operate and how they differ to local, and actually don't differ actually, but the surroundings, the comfort, the creature comforts, yeah.
Any starstruck moments as well with an actor or an actress on set?
Please have, because I had.
Yeah,
have
I don't
to.
know. I don't.
We all have them.
I don't really get. I don't know.
You don't really get starstruck. Oh yeah, baby. I'm loving that.
I don't. I think I get starstruck when I get the job and I'm like, oh wow, I'm going to work with Idris Elba or Cuba Gooding Jr. or I'm going to meet Claire Danes.
I mean, I kind of understand that sentiment because eventually you just want to get on with the job and do a great job and not get hung up
I think
over.
I sort out my own insecurities and starstruck thing at home. And then
you show up
and
and
then
be
you
a
show up
professional.
and they're like, they're human. Oh, they're much shorter than I thought they are, or whatever. It's just
Right.
they are humans, and we're there to do a job.
Okay.
But Cuba Gooding Jr. is probably the biggest
Oh, yeah,
one.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it just took me
big.
for a second. I was like, show me the money, show me the money.
me the
cool,
money.
it's over. Let's go.
Now, I have to share this story to my credit. Zikhona and Armand bumped into each other here at the loft, and they didn't know where they recognized each other from. And they kept saying, where do I know you from? I've seen you somewhere, da, da, da. And then I popped up, of course, and said, I know, long walk to freedom. Did you guys ever bump into each other on set?
No. But we shot the exteriors of the prison on Robben Island. And then the interiors,
Some interiors were in the studio.
At the studios.
And were you at the studios ever?
I was at the studios.
See?
So we felt each other's energy. When I walked in here, I was like,
No, I saw you. Yeah, you. I'm just.
You've just starred in your first major role
yes.
in a feature film.
Yeah.
Ballade vir 'n Enkeling.
Yes.
And you play a writer.
I do. I play the writer Jacques Reinhardt.
How did this come about?
Wow. It kind of happened systematically as you would get the brief and you go for the audition. But luckily I'd worked with the director before, so that kind of tension or nerves that initially are there at auditions, I was a little bit more comfortable.
So you walked into that casting
I was like,
I got this.
Actually not. I walked out of there going, it's over. I didn't get it. Yeah, I was like, I wish I can get a cameo in this. And then, I ended up... But there were a lot of similarities. I don't know, I kind of believe in fate to a certain extent. A lot of things just kind of came together with this film and me being a part of it. When I moved to Johannesburg before I got the role, and when I moved into my flat, I got the job, and my character's flat was the next block of flats, so I could walk to work. Yeah, and it was exactly 27 years ago. Or the year I was born was the first time the series aired for the first time, because it's a remake of the series. So a lot of kind of fateful things I felt played a role in this. Yeah.
Any similarities between you and the character? Have you done any writing yourself?
I've just started a little bit of writing. Yeah.
What kind of writing?
I want to work on a screenplay. I want to make a movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
So it's very difficult. Yeah.
You've also been in Homeland and Book of Negroes.
Yes. Incredible. Yeah. Homeland. I got to meet Claire Danes, but didn't play with her.
You didn't play with her?
No, with Rupert Friend.
Yeah, she was in my yoga class and her yoga mat was right in front of mine. I also didn't get to play with her.
You should have.
And Book of Negroes?
That was remarkable. We shot a lot of it in Cape Town. And I got to meet Ingenue Ellis, Lyrique Bent, and Cuba Gooding Jr. And it's my favorite. I love period pieces. And this was set in the late 1780 was kind of when I was the acting. So I got to wear wigs and these costumes, and I put on a posh British accent, and And then I got to go to Canada to go shoot there, which was incredible.
Oh, that's so
I was
awesome.
there for 2 weeks.
You must know my sister, Mbuli. She's a makeup artist.
Yes! Yeah, we were there together. Love
that's my little
Cookie.
sister.
Oh, amazing.
She's
I
a
didn't
lovely
realize.
one. Yeah.
So we were together in Canada, and it was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you're also staying for dinner,
Yes, please.
and we've got a beautiful performance in store for you later.
Yay.
But for now, we pop over to Jeannie in the kitchen who's making a lavash. Jeannie, what on earth is a lavash, darling?
Well, for once, I don't have an answer for everything. What is a lavash?
Okay, so a lavash is an unleavened bread from the Middle East, and what we're going to do is roll it out extra thin today and make a crisp that's going to complement our beautiful, soft, gooey cheeses.
Oh, tasty. Okay, how do we
Amazing.
start
So
that?
first with the cheese, we have a delicious, soft, white mold cheese that's paired with a ginger and fig drizzle. It's all about a beautiful balance of flavors. So you've got the salty, gooey cheese, and then that tangy drizzle. It's a match made in cheese
Just
heaven.
the way she said that, I'm actually salivating already. Sounds delicious.
So you're going to pop that onto the baking tray, and it comes with kind of everything that you need. So that's
it's
the drizzle.
already ready.
So that's for later. You take it out and you'll see inside there's actually a little piece of baking paper.
And is this just a cheese and then like a pastry?
So what it is, it's wrapped in that pastry, and it's sort of a take on a classic brie en croûte. And that is going to bake golden, and inside is that cheese that's going to get all soft and amazing.
So do I pour this over
That's
it?
for later.
Do I drizzle?
That's for later. Yeah. So we've got that one done. The next one is a beautiful camembert. Sorry, I'm getting all excited about these cheeses here. I don't know what I'm doing. So we've got a fantastic camembert. It's a really good old favorite where you bake it in the wooden container. But like I said, you can sort of put whatever you want with it, and that's where the lavash comes in. So our sort of classic take with a fantastic signature is our lavash. So we can get going on that. If you want to open up that.
Yes, done.
And
I really do enjoy being your kitchen hand.
So then those go into the oven at various temperatures for sort of 200 degrees, 15 minutes, 180 degrees for 20 minutes, the different cheeses. And while those go in the oven, we're going to make this. So we just pop our flour into our bowl here and make a little bit of a mess.
So that and that, and now I'm going to put this in the oven for you. Remember, if you want to cook with us, be sure to go to our website, which is www.afternoonexpress.co.za, and get all of our delicious recipes and all of these really amazing ingredients. Off to the yard I go.
So while you put that in the oven, we've got our yeast in the bowl already. We're just going to add some of our oil. That's just going to add a beautiful flavour into that lavash. And then just a drizzle of honey, probably about 2... Oh, that's not open. Let's try and...
I'll open.
You
don't break your nails.
Break a nail.
Mine are really strong.
Don't
stress.
Then we're going to add our water. So it's a slightly warmed water.
There you go. How much honey do you want, honey?
Just good drizzle. Squeeze. Yeah, that's good.
Enough?
Perfect.
I made it a little bit sweeter, but it's because you deserve it.
It's fine. So we're just going to mix that all up, and then that comes together and forms a beautiful dough, and that takes about 15 minutes then to prove. That yeast just wants to start bubbling and just fermenting a little bit, and then we're going to roll out those crackers into that thin, beautiful lavash, which you're going to use to dip into that cheese that you've just popped into the oven. Yummy.
That sounds amazing, and also really good for entertaining. When would you serve this? Would this be your starter as your guests would arrive?
I would serve it as a starter or as a cocktail sort of meal if you want to. Have a bunch of friends over, serve a few different types of cheeses, beautiful toppings, amazing sides, as in our lavash crackers or good crusty bread, and everyone just digs in. That's kind of the cool thing. It's very interactive and fun. So a little sip of a drink in your hand and then a cheese in the other.
Very, very social. Don't go away. When we return, we have some more dynamic and inspirational guests on our couch, like the gorgeous and talented Lynelle Kenned after this.
Coming up, Lynelle Kenned chats with us about her experiences as a singer and TV presenter, and then learns some DIY decor techniques.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express on SABC3. She lit up our TV screens on my top-billing dream presenter search in 2012, and since then she's graced the theatre stage in a number of musical productions, as well as becoming a host on Pasela. Joining us on the couch is the beautiful opera singer and TV personality, Lynelle Kenned. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
I love your hair. And you've come to be known as the frizzy-haired opera singer.
Yes, it was actually coincidental how it happened. I used to wear my hair straight my entire life, and did the whole relaxer thing. But when I got to university, I just couldn't maintain that any longer, and I did a big chop, and this was before the natural revolution, the natural hair movement, and it just grew out and it stuck, and now it's my thing, apparently.
Now it's your thing.
Yeah.
Had you always just worn straight hair because you were just afraid to rock your natural afro?
I didn't know I had curly hair. It started, like mothers take their kids to a salon, and you just, whatever's easier to maintain. My mom did the straight hair thing with me, and it was only when I turned 20 that I realized, but this is my natural hair texture.
And
it's low maintenance, so just do whatever works.
I mean, folk would pay money for that hair.
People have told me that I should beware, like, don't walk down dark alleyways because, people's hair gets so long. Just chop it off.
Take your hair. Was it always the dream to become an opera singer?
No, actually. Funnily enough, I've just been musical I grew up in a musical family, in a musical household. Everybody played an instrument, everybody sang. So it was the most natural thing for me to just express myself in that way. And I always joke and say like a piano was like a normal piece of furniture in the house, like a bed or a fridge. And when I was 17, I had the opportunity to see a production at the Artscape Opera House. And seeing the performers on stage, I just knew that that was what I was born to do, because I had been singing but not performing, and then that's when I made the shift.
Right, and then you trained as an opera singer.
Yes, after school I went to the UCT Opera School and trained for 4 years, got my qualification, and life had other plans, clearly. Yeah.
And then, of course, you were part of the My Top Billing Dream presenter search in 2012, which you didn't win. You ended up in the top 4. But life had other plans for you, because not only did you end up as the host of Parcella.
Ek moet sê ek is omtrent trots op myself. Maar rotsklim is nie al wat in die area aangebied word nie. Met Tafelberg in jou agterstoep is daar natuurlik baie staproetes wat jy ook kan volg.
You also got the honor of opening for Katherine Jenkins.
Yeah, what an experience that was. Yeah. And I think what's amazing about how things have evolved is that I can still do presenting and perform. Parcella's only on air for 6 months of the year, and for the other half of my time, I basically spend it living on stage. And opening for somebody like Katherine Jenkins, I never expected that to happen from the competition, and it just exceeded all of my expectations.
Now, just for the audience members who don't know who she is, she's an international mezzo-soprano, right? And you performed with her at the finale of the presenter search. And then she came back to South Africa and asked you to open for her. What did that feel like?
I still have to pinch myself.
Remember that moment?
It was actually on the espresso couch when she asked me if I wanted to come and perform in the show, and just goosebumps when I think about that. She is so generous and such a beautiful person, and for me to be able to do that, especially with my mom being in the audience, that was a really special moment.
I was given 3 months to live 8 years ago. I was diagnosed with stage 4 malignant melanoma, and at that time Lynelle was in grade 10, and she was singing since she was a little girl, and she always wanted to sing and become an opera singer. And I begged the Lord to just keep me alive until I can see her on stage, and to actually see her perform today with Katherine Jenkins was also my dream come true.
Lynelle, I know you've recently gone through a difficult time. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm keeping up, you know. My mom, she fought a hectic battle against cancer and had been for the last 10, 11 years. And when somebody that close to you that's had such a huge impact on your life, when they're not there anymore, it is hard to carry on, because you feel like you've been cheated out of time that you thought you were going to have with them, especially when you're young and starting off in your career, and when you hit milestones, like you think people, like your mom should be there to see that, and she should help you raise your kids one day, and just to think that that chapter will never be there in your life is it's a huge loss. But I think I'd like to believe that the people that leave us never really abandon us, and that they stay with us in a different energy and a different kind of form, and become our guardian angels in a way, and which makes it a bit easier. But I know that she always used to say how proud she was of what I'm doing, and how she sacrificed for me to be able to do what I am.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you go on. I'm fortunate that a lot of my friends, my close network, they had to go through something like this. So I really am supported and loved, and and I'm not alone, and none of us are alone. Whatever you go through in life, you know, someone has been through that, and to not suffer alone, speak up about it. If you want to cry, and just, yeah, we are fortunate to still be here and to have the chance to live and experience. And
thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us.
And a couple of weeks ago, I had a big performance, and she had brain radiation just the day before, and she came to the performance in a wheelchair because she didn't want to stay home.
You got me all teary-eyed.
No, don't cry, because if you start crying, then I will cry.
Okay, I'll stop. Speaking of stage productions, Sanda, who's your co-actor in Orpheus in Africa, is also on Presenter Search on 3, and he's one of the finalists.
Yes.
I mean, what a small world.
It is absolutely incredible. I just think people who are on stage, they do well with this kind of thing. I remember before he auditioned, he told me, he came up to me and he was like, I was thinking of entering this thing. And I'm like, dude, you have to go. You'd be amazing for this. So just watching him do his thing and be himself on screen, it's beautiful to watch. And I couldn't be proud of him. And I'm,
You're rooting for him.
Of course I'm rooting for him.
Of course.
He's my own boy. I'm rooting for him. But I must say, like, this season, the contestants are being put through their paces.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm so glad that I don't
feel
have
like
to
you
do
had
it
it
this
easier.
time. Oh, definitely. Definitely, we had it easier. Eugene Koza made us laugh all the time.
Nice.
So we could relax into it. But these guys are being thrown into the deep end.
Wow.
So kudos to them. They've got nerves of steel, I think.
And of course, Zikhona, you can relate to the satisfaction of seeing young hopefuls getting their dream, their doors being opened, and talent being discovered.
Absolutely. Young people want this, and they want
They're
it
hungry.
hard. They are hungry. And you just start going, wow, there's hope here. There's definitely something in South Africa. There is talent galore, and now young people are they just have it, and they want to show us.
Yeah.
You feel everything like vibrating. I feel like we're at the cusp of something massive in this country. When
It's palpable.
Yeah, it's in the music.
It's Africa's
on the
time.
stage. Yeah, completely.
Have a chance to.
Hey, it's incredible.
And speaking of talent, you have worked together.
Not work together here.
Make the circle bigger.
And the common link. I know your sister. We've worked together. We've kind of been in the same.
We're just one big happy family.
Pollinating.
Of course.
Yeah, it was the funniest thing because he came over to my side of the world. He was in an opera with me, of all things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's funny because he had the only non-singing role in the opera. He didn't actually say a word, but he stole the show.
There was a ship that was revolving and all these. It was amazing. Yeah. It was I fell asleep on stage.
What?
In the second half.
Okay.
This is insane.
So professional.
Yes.
But there was a
it
massive
was
ship.
the singing put him to sleep like a lullaby.
like
you
But the
know?
ship,
Lullaby.
my bedroom was on the one half, and if it turns, it's
Yes.
the exterior of the ship. So there's no way for me to leave without being noticed. And in the second half, I only came literally in at the last 10 minutes.
Right.
And I had this amazing day bed, and it was dark, and I had blankets, and then I fell asleep.
Then you fell asleep.
Yeah, and then the stage manager had to throw things at me to wake me up.
Well, Lynelle is going to perform for us later with her angelic voice. Maybe you can fall asleep then, and then we'll wait
There's a
you
couch.
for dinner.
Probably gonna happen.
Sounds like a plan.
For expression of another kind, let's join DIY expert Yanni Gossaert as she demonstrates the techniques of distressing and transferring on a plastic pot plant. Welcome to the show, Yanni.
Hi, Bonnie.
Lovely to
Thank
have you.
Yes, so we're going to show you the basics of a distressed technique,
Okay.
and then also a very quick and easy transfer method that you could also use very easily at home.
When I heard transfer, it sounded like this elaborate technique, but it's actually just transferring
Yes, it's
picture
incredible.
onto.
It's very easy. It's
Very simple.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
So to start with the distressing, first of all, this is what the pot starts out as. It's a really cheap, whatever, average plastic pot. And
Which
then
you can get at a pot plant, at a plant shop.
any plant shop or like
Hardware.
Plastic shop,
Okay,
whatever really.
all right.
Anything cheap, actually, because that's the whole point of this, to make it look
Point of it.
expensive.
Okay.
And it wasn't.
Okay.
So the steps are pretty simple. You start with the raw plastic pot.
Okay.
And then to be able to distress this, you need 2 layers of paint.
What kind of paint?
So you would use any sort of a textured paint that can sit onto plastic.
Okay.
So you would start with one basic color. In this instance, I chose a black with a little bit of blue with it, just because if you do any DIY project, it's nice to think about the end result you want.
Okay.
And with this one, the transfer we're using is black. So to tie that into the distressing that comes out, it's nice to choose a color that suits your transfer.
So it's the color that's going to show through once you
Yes.
start distressing.
Exactly.
There's going to be something like that, right? So when you
Yes, so that's where we're heading for
So
this.
I could even use pink.
You could.
Yeah, okay.
So any color, the color that goes on first is the color that when you distress is actually going to come through. So the color you want the most of, you put on secondly.
Okay.
So this is then you paint it in a very rough, textured way, and then you put a second coat of paint on, which is the color that you like the most. In this case, I chose a very natural color so that it does mimic cement a bit more.
Okay.
Which make
Stone
it,
color, right,
yes,
yes.
which
Make it
makes
look even more expensive.
more real.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, and heavy.
Okay. And so how do we transfer this onto here? Do we actually stick it on?
Okay, yes, we do. So it is super easy. Before we do that, to just a little something about distressing, because our clients always, you buy things that have been distressed and that looks old.
Right. Can I try that? Show me how to
Yes,
do that.
you
'cause
definitely can. So we use a sandpaper. Sandpaper is also interesting. Don't use something too fine. That's more for buffing something up and making it smooth. This is between an 80 and 100 grit. Because you actually want to knock the paint off the object that you're using.
Right.
Okay.
So if you do a distressed look, what you're basically doing is you are weathering it. But you must think, where would this have weathered naturally?
right.
So everything around the edges,
the corners.
Corners, exactly.
Okay, so once that's done, we cut
Once
out...
that's done, you do this. I don't know, Vada, do you want to try the transfer?
Yes, let me try that as well. Okay.
So for this, it also sounds very hectic, fancy a transfer. What it actually just is, it's it's any picture that you like or words that you print out in mirror on a laser printer. That's the only trick. It has to be a laser printer. So
It could be a
not
quote,
an ink.
anything you like, okay.
Any quote, yeah. Then you must just remember to have it printed for you in mirror, because you're going to transfer it face to face.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, face to face with the object you're putting it on.
So any ink that's on here is going to stick to the pot?
Yes.
All right, okay.
If it's printed on a laser printer.
Yes.
Okay, so with that you use Podge.
Mod Podge.
Yes. So, yeah, any type. There's a lot of companies that make something. It just basically comes down to it's always called something Podge.
Podge, okay.
So
It's easy to remember.
yes.
I like that word. What a pile of podge.
Yeah, it does sound.
Podge. Okay, show me how to do this. So I'm going to...
Okay. So it just says handmade, but in mirror. And what's interesting about this is usually when you use this, you use it sort of as in a sandwich way. You put it at the bottom and you also put it over the top. But if you do a transfer, you don't want any of this over the top because you need to take the paper off later.
So you're going to wash the paper off later?
We're going to wash
because
the
that
paper
doesn't
off.
stick.
Yes.
All right.
So that's anything. You can use a brush
Podge
or
stuff is
whatever.
magic.
Okay.
It is quite magical, actually.
So that's the right way around, make sure.
Yes. So you
Otherwise
can
we're gonna podge it
basically
up.
measure how far or how big it is, and then you
Okay.
put it on the base.
So I put the podge on first?
Not on the
All right.
paper, on the actual object.
On the actual object. So that is what's actually going to absorb the paint, the ink from the paper.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Like that?
Yes, that's
All right,
perfect. Yeah, and then you can just put it on.
Okay.
Okay.
Stick it on like that.
Yes. So now normally if you would have used Mod Podge in the normal way, this would be a picture with the front showing, and you would put that over it again. But with this, exactly what Vardit is doing, that's perfect. You just need to make sure it's
You're a good teacher, you're
flat.
a good teacher.
Wagner does everything well. So after that dries, what then?
So when that is dry, now you don't want the paper, so we want to get rid of the white, and the only way you do that is really with water.
With water.
So you wet it.
With a cloth?
And you put it over the paper.
All right. Messy, I like it.
You like it messy.
Don't be, just start out quite gently, because You could, with these transfer things, because it's actually on another substance, the podge now that is hardened.
Okay.
If you scratch too hard, you might actually scratch the podge itself off as well. And that's the thing that keeps the ink on. So you just want the paper.
Coming off
There we go.
Wow, how amazing.
And this you can
Can't
do
believe how
on
simple this stuff
anything. You
is,
can do this on wood, you can do it on, painted surfaces, on metal, whatever. Basically anything that podge would stick to.
So once the pattern is clear and the transferring is done, do we paint over it again?
Because the pot has the character of distressing and like an older look, you can put a little bit of paint lightly over it. You can try it if you like. And then all that's left to do really is if you put the pot outside, you can put a varnish over it.
Thank you so much, Jani.
Pleasure.
It looks gorgeous.
Thanks.
Thank you, Wagner.
Pleasure.
After the break, more cheesy cooking with Jeannie.
Coming up, we're back in the kitchen to bake, and we find out a thing or two about ceramics with Mervyn Gass.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, new on SABC 3. Remember, you can get involved in our conversations by chatting to us on all of our social media channels. On Facebook, it is Afternoon Express, as well as Instagram, and then, of course, Twitter, which is @AfternoonChat, #Afternoon Express. Back in the kitchen with Claire Winstanley, it's all about lavash and cheese. What is our next step?
So, like we said, our dough was going to brew for a little bit of time, 10 to 15 minutes, just until it sort of rises up a little bit and we get a little bit of air and life into it.
And
then
it
we're just
has
going to roll it
risen.
out. It has risen.
Okay.
We're just going to make a mess here onto a nice clean surface. Bit of flour.
It's not fun unless you mess it.
Agreed. So we're just going to get in there.
Do you want some help?
Yeah, you hold the bowl, I'm going to dig.
Okay. Oh, no,
Or vice versa.
you do
Okay,
the digging.
Go.
Okay.
Go. Just dig it all out there.
And I don't have to keep it in any particular shape. I can just get it
not
out.
at all. What we're going to do is roll.
Why is it so sticky?
Because we probably forgot to oil the bowl.
Okay. Well, now you know. Oil the bowl.
This is a safe space. Honesty is the best policy.
Okay.
So you oil the bowl slightly and then it doesn't stick. So that's kind of the best way to do it. So that's that. And then it's not a big deal if we sort of smash this down a little bit because we are rolling it out into a nice thin lavash. So we're just going to sort of chop these into 3 little pieces without chopping the table. And then it just gets rolled out. You can roll it out to as best as possible the same shape as your oven tray, because what you're going to do is oil the surface there, which I'm going to ask you to do over that. So just take some of the oil, give it a good drizzle, and then just brush it evenly over it.
I've watched this being done very many a time.
Okay, go.
Okay, so why did you hold the top?
So you hold the top just so that you don't end up with a huge glug of oil over it. See how it kind of evenly oozes out. And then you're going to take the brush and just help it along to sort of even out those
And a thin layer
edges.
or quite thick?
No, that's perfect, just like that. You want to get it a fairly thick layer because this lavash is going to go on there and it's going to help sort of golden and caramelize the crisp as well as stop it from sticking.
Great.
So,
and I like how you make use of the whole tray, the back and the front.
Yeah, the reason we're using the back is because what you want to do is get this as thin as possible and just keep rolling, and it often tends to sort of flop over the edge. If the tray is the other way around, it's going to curl in and tuck in and kind of not really cook on the edges. And
look at you.
Yeah, so we're just utilizing both sides. Get our money's worth out of those trays. So we just keep on rolling, just as thin as you can. Often what happens is when you roll this out, it sort of shrinks in. That's sort of the dough tightening up again, and you can wait a little bit, let it relax, chill out a little bit, and then start going again. And just get your back into it. So
amazing. Get your back into it.
Get your back into it.
Remember, for ingredients and recipes, go to our website, which is www.afternoonexpress.co.za. And I'm blown away by the recipes that you've shown us since the show's been on air. These are so fantastic. I really do look forward to entertaining more at home and actually cooking them for myself.
I know, easy ones that you can do for dinner right there and then, or save it for the weekend when you've got a little bit of time. You know, just some cool ideas to excite the family.
Exactly.
So
now
if
you've
you
got
wanna-
that nice and thin.
So nice and thin, as you can see, it's not really tight, like pulling in anymore, so it's happy. We want our dough happy. And then we're just gonna pop it right on here.
I'm happy when I have a lot of dough.
Aren't we all? So you can see how it's like all flopped over to the edge. You don't have to make it perfect shape because you're gonna crack it up and break it up later to dip it into that cheese that's bubbling away in the oven. And then again, a little bit more of this on there, and then you can season this, top it as you want. What I've chosen is za'atar, which is a mixture of all sorts of delicious spices. So we've got cumin, coriander, a little bit of chopped hazelnuts, sesame seeds,
Do you know
salt,
what
pepper.
this would be amazing with, actually? You've just inspired me, because this reminds me of, you know, those Middle Eastern flavors and Dubai and that kind of thing. You can serve this with hummus as well.
Absolutely,
Just
totally.
saying.
So put a big, nice thick layer of it. We love that.
Yeah.
It's really a fantastic flavor, and it's going to go so well with that cheese. The spices will sort of help cut that rich, delicious velvetiness, which we love, of the cheese, and then just pump up the flavor.
And there's your seeds. I'm loading this with
How
flavor.
cool is that? You can also grab some salt and pepper, and then we pop that into the oven until it gets golden. You'll see that it starts to bubble up a little bit. That's from the yeast. That's great because it adds extra surface area.
And you can really make this as hot or as spicy
Absolutely.
as you want.
You can add chili flakes onto there, also amazing.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can even add some honey on here and before you even get going onto the cheese. You can even sneak some of the drizzle from the cheese onto here, but then you don't have any more for later, so that's a bit of a pickle.
I'm finished with you. This is just delish.
How cool is that? So again, into the oven, nice and golden, and we're just gonna keep on rolling the dough and finishing up that, and you just one tray in, one tray out, one tray in, one tray out, done. Ready in time to entertain all those fabulous guests with your delicious cheese.
Just too delicious.
And that's it.
Thank you so much, Claire. And while I pop this in the oven, you can head to Bonnie and Mervyn, who are standing by with some fantastic ceramic ideas. Bonnie?
Oh, thank you, Jeannie. That food would look awesome on one of these plates. Joining me now is Cape Town potter Mervyn Gass, whose reputation for making bespoke dinnerware is fast growing and being lauded the world over. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great to have you. Mervyn, what is bespoke?
Bespoke means that we would design a range for you, whether you want prints on them, transfers, or whatever it is, and that becomes your range and no one else will have it. We won't sell to anybody else. So we do it for restaurants, quite a few of them. We've done it with the Walter Battist design, which we got the rights to do 23 different Walter Battist design, and then also the MAD Foundation.
And what is the process? Where does it all begin?
We use stoneware, which is a clay that you can fire to about 1,220 degrees. It's quite strong.
Okay.
And then it gets glazed and fired again. It's like they've been doing it for hundreds of years, same process.
This koi fish design has become very popular the world over. Can you take us through your creative process and how it all began?
Yeah, we used the koi fish and the old blue willow pattern. That's quite, everybody knows the willow pattern.
Yes,
so we
yes.
deconstructed it and worked together, and it just sort of seemed to work. I think everybody recognizes the blue willow because you all grew up with it, or most people know it. And then it's just sort of something, and I think the colors work well together.
Okay, so these are all original paintings?
They were original paintings, but we took the paintings and then we got artwork done, color separations, and then we printed. You printed it with the transfer pigment. It's a ceramic pigment. We printed the same sort of color, the same to get one. It's the first one we did for the MAD Foundation. François Pina's has got to make a different foundation.
Okay.
They do a limited edition, and then they auction them off at golf days, and in South Africa and United Kingdom and in America. So that's the way of raising funds. This is the first one we did 2 years ago. We did this one last year, which is Lynelle Smith.
Okay.
And then we just started with the.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, this is an 8-color print as well.
So in terms of trends, I understand black crockery is all the rage right now. Why?
Apparently, it's been proved that food looks better on black. This is our earth range. It's got a bit of texture on. So what chefs like is, the food must be the year on the plate. But it's nice to actually have some texture and some different designs and something which is original.
Oh, that's gorgeous. So what are the trends in crockery
The trends
for the next year?
trends are very much grey, black, natural stone colours. White is out, specifically
White is
restaurants.
out?
Out,
Wow.
and sort of mix
White was in for a long time.
Been in for a long time, but at the moment I think if you go to restaurants, it's more your natural colours. And if it is white, it would be a matte white.
Okay.
It won't be a shiny Chinese sort of white.
Right.
So, I mean, people do use it, and a lot of people they would mix a colour together. So, for instance, that would be your starter, and different colours would be mixed together. For instance, there's a pan that's quite popular. You can serve a dessert in it, a pie, and it can go in the oven, and it's quite functional.
Right. Thank you so much, Mervyn.
You're welcome.
After the break, Lynelle Kenned performs for us. Don't go away. Welcome back to Afternoon Express on SABC 3. Now, this is the moment we've all been anticipating all evening. Here to perform Rosettas Waltz is Lynelle Kenned, accompanied by Albert. Take it away.
So amazing.
What a spirited performance. You're certainly one of the most gorgeous and talented young ladies I've ever met.
That means the world to me. Thank you, Bunny.
Sure, now that we've all cried and sung for our supper, I hope it's ready. We're coming in.
It is ready, it is. Wow. That was such a moving performance, a very tough act to follow, but I think we can try.
So, fresh out the oven, it's really hot, and you can see how that cheese is just melting around the edges. Beautiful. So I'm going to ask you, I think I can try and pop. Yes, I can.
Oh, wow.
Fingers, and then you can just slide that off.
There you go.
And that goes onto our beautiful cheese board. You can leave it on the paper, that's fine. And that amazing fig and ginger drizzle that we were trying to pop on earlier, you just look for the little tear and just give it a good pull. Let's see if when we cut into it, we get a nice ooze and goo. Okay.
Oh my goodness, this is just too much.
Oh yeah, look at
this. This is just too much.
Oh, yum.
Oh, wow.
And then just for fun, we can add a little bit of honey onto this one just because I love a little bit of sweet with that.
Of course.
And make it a nice mess. And then really, to finish off these two cheeses is our last but not least amazing baked camembert with onion glaze. So it's all about the flavor with this one. I just thought it might be too much for the two of us to eat, so I just left it on the side. Beautiful, full of flavor, and the onion glaze complements that amazing tanginess of the cheese and the softness of the cheese. It's fantastic. So that's that. That's our lavash. We just break it up, tear it all over it, and we just start digging in.
Claire, this looks lavashing amazing. Thank you so much for this gorgeous spread. And thank you so much for joining us today on Afternoon Express. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Thank you from me, Jeannie D. Happy eating.
Join us tomorrow on Afternoon Express, where we show you a few delightful dishes to help keep the winter blues away. We'll discuss Kaya Dlunga's new book. Trevor Gumby entertains us with his witticisms. Our resident vet, Daniel, talks about owning exotic pets. Kaya faces his fear of snakes. And you can view the latest in baby gadgets designed with dads in mind.
Another feel-good production.
Join us next time for more fabulous fun inspired by First for Women on Afternoon Express. For an insurance quote, call 0861 11 18 44 or SMS FIRST to 49267.